darkness, my old friend, I've come to be with you again. Do you like that song?
I do actually.
Yeah.
Graduate, it's in The Graduate, isn't it? I've just shaved, which is why I'm very sore, so I apologise for that. Give us a song that has blackbirds in it, as you did with Kate.
One a penny, two a penny,
Oh,
blackbird.
Christ. It's not Blackbird Sings. Blackbird singing in the dead of
No,
night.
I don't know that song. One blackbird, two
Spread your
blackbirds in a
golden
pie.
wings
What's the
and
one in
go
the
to
pie?
fly.
What's the blackbirds in the pie? I'll just let you keep going.
Blackbird's pie. Why have I got pie in my head? You got your Dennis the Menace top on, babe.
I have.
They took a picture to Daisy. There's that bit, isn't there? Paul McCartney goes a bit funny. Johnny Depp's bouncing around all over the place, isn't he? You wouldn't think he's got a court case about to be verdicted.
I suspect that he's now parked it because I think
he has.
whatever happens, it feels like the PR has all gone his way, and that even if he loses the case, he's back in a position that he wasn't in.
As I said earlier, I think the difference here is I think he desperately wanted, regardless of the verdict, I think he wanted people to see and hear her for herself, draw their own conclusions. And I think it's really important that people, whichever side of the equation they fall, don't turn to hate and nastiness.
Yeah.
But I think
trolling that she's had is disgusting.
Oh my God, it's
absolutely disgusting.
It's absolutely horrendous. So I think I'm really about, if you believe Johnny Depp, well, there has to be room to be able to believe what someone's saying without somehow consigning her to some kind of awful fate.
Yeah.
So
also we have to believe that if you do believe him and you don't believe her, you are not turning your back on all domestic violence victims, because there are some men who are the victims of domestic violence.
And there are some people who accuse
And there are many people that believe that he is a victim of domestic violence and not her. And I think all the vitriol's got to be taken out of it.
So the verdict is due in at any minute. Obviously, with each day that goes by, we're that much closer. When the verdict is ready to be given, they are going to give the world a 1 hour notice period for sort of, I guess, media outlets to frantically get their cameras in front of the courthouse in Fairfax and get ready and be prepared. So there will be a 1 hour's notice period. And of course, as soon as we can, if I'm free, we're going to jump on a live and unpack it as it happens, preferably as it happens, but if not, certainly shortly thereafter.
Somebody asking there, do you think your prediction is that it will come in today?
Do you want my absolute prediction on the way it's going to go?
No, when the verdict's coming in.
I think there's a very strong possibility it will come in today, because there were a few questions asked of the judge yesterday about clarity around which remarks they were finding on. I think
they've asked for the remark to be removed that her lawyer made, didn't they?
Yeah, unsuccessfully though.
Oh really?
They haven't successful. So the jury has not been asked
Sustained.
to dismiss it. So yes, exactly. If I was absolutely having to say which way I think this is going to go.
4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. Thank you, Lynn Beardmore.
I personally think. What do you think is going to happen? Do you know the sort of legalities of what the defamatory comments and all that?
Yeah, because the case is about.
What do you think?
Whether she basically through jigsaw, jigsaw identification, identified him without saying his name. I think she did.
They're not formally using that as a means in this, but that is something that you can do when someone is.
Keeps talking about you, but not mentioning your name, so trying not to get sued. But there is something where you can have that's called jigsaw identification, where if you put all the things together,
and you're
definitely talking about this person. But you're playing scurrilous games by playing the system by not actually naming the person. So is that right? Is that what?
Yeah, well, that's part of it. They're actually finding on 3 statements lifted from the article, the op-ed article, and they're trying to say, do those individual statements almost out of context, do those statements defame? It's a very hard bar to kind of get over for Johnny.
Can I just ask one thing?
Yeah.
If that's all they're looking at, why have we heard all the gruesome details of what did and didn't happen?
Because
it's proving that she was talking about him.
Yeah, but also she's trying to prove that there's also proving that he was abusive, and if they can prove that he was abusive just once, then it could in no way be defamatory anyway, because she was describing her own experience. Do you see what I mean?
I see.
My sense is that on a technicality, I think Amber will win. That's my sense of it. I think on technicality, she will win, and I think that will be, and then it will be left to the sort of court of public opinion.
But I don't think it's going to harm him.
No.
Mandy Nanny, sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 24 blackbirds baked in a pie.
When the pie was open,
the birds began to sing.
Wasn't that a dainty dish to put before a king?
Yeah.
The king was in his counting house, counting out his money.
The queen was in the parlour, eating bread and honey.
The maid was in the garden, hanging up her clothes, and down
came a blackbird and pecked off her nose.
My granddad would do that.
That's
it.
it. That's it. Thank you.
Hurt.
Thanks, guys.
Oh.
If you're wondering why we're singing the Blackbird song, there is a scene in yesterday's vlog where I am so blasted. Well, me, Kay and Jane were.
Very
we were
funny.
drunk.
Very funny. Patsy Muck, don't say Amber will win. It could be that he wins on one of the statements. You know, they're going to they might say, look, he's won this statement, but he hasn't won that statement. This statement is defamatory, this statement isn't. Whoever wins, I think there were strong arguments that they won't be awarded the amounts of money they were seeking. She's seeking 100 million, he's seeking 50 million. So, you know, it's going to be it's going to be fascinating then. If they are, however, if they've all just decided that she's totally lying and performing, they could find, you know, that's why a jury kind of decision is quite fascinating, because they could all just go, no, it's him, it's absolutely him, it's fine.
If you missed yesterday's Coffee Moaning, we were talking, Mark found this brilliant article about how coffee saves your life. And listen to this, sweet coffee.
Save your life.
That was just so delicious. Honestly, try a teaspoon of maple syrup in your coffee. I want another one straight away.
A spoonful of sugar
Helps
in
the
your coffee
medicine
goes
go
down.
down. The
Coffee,
medicine
go down.
Medicine go down. Oh, a spoonful of sugar helps the
the
medicine
coffee
go
go
down
down.
in the most delightful way. Okay, that's enough singing for
All
today.
right, hang on. Jennifer Mann, annoys me that the outcome may go Amber's way, as jury will think what it shows to all domestic abusers, but it's just as awful to accuse someone of. Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, Camille did say, I mean, this is one of the things that I think is really important when people are understandably running and going, oh, but what about the plight of all domestic abuse victims? No one for a minute is querying that. But without absolute proof, could there be anything worse than being accused of it if you haven't done it? Do you know what I mean? I mean, could there be anything, you know, alongside obviously experiencing, you know, that's as bad for Johnny if he hasn't. Yes, he's chaotic. Yes, he's a mess. Yes, he's over the top. Yes, he's overboard. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's... Where's the unfairness?
Sorry,
noted?
Russ Souch has just said hazelnut syrup.
He's always saying things like that,
though. Oh my God, is there such a thing? It's because I
Russ.
love hazelnuts.
What have you done?
There's a hazelnut syrup.
What has a hazelnut in every bite?
Topic. I wonder
Pure
if
milk chocolate for your delight.
Because I like to buy good quality maple syrup. I wonder if I put hazelnuts in it that I've roasted, would the flavour seep into the maple syrup? God, I want that now. Want it now.
Who wants a... Oh no, I'm trying to think of a song for every
No more
word that
songs.
you're
You're singing too much now.
Am
So
I?
people are going to leave. Yeah.
Are they?
Yep.
Okay. All right, well...
Oh, Laura Lou says you can get millions of types of syrup. I've never had a syrup in my coffee. Well, except my own syrup, maple.
True. I don't know why I'm saying true. Could be true. Don't
I
know
wonder if they
it is
do
true.
like a rum syrup.
Boris Johnson is frantically phoning Tory MPs everywhere to shore up support, as now even his ethics minister or representative
Yes, this is a good one.
says, you know, enough's enough. I mean, they're all kind
No,
of...
is it the ethics minister that said how can he say that
Yes.
that he hasn't broken the ministerial?
Yes.
And what's he said back?
I haven't read that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
'Cause
that
I meant to
he's
read that and I
phoning
didn't.
Tory MPs to shore up support as prospect of a no-confidence vote moves closer.
it does make me laugh when they say he's phoning people. How do they know that?
Yeah, it's funny,
Or is it just so ridiculous? Of course he's phoning people.
Yeah.
I was quite excited by this idea that the reason what's his name doesn't let us know about the letters. Who's that bloke who's really
Graham
good at
Brady.
hiding
Graham
letters?
Brady. I wonder if he's got one of those letter boxes like you used to have at school. When
Yeah,
when
and
you
he's
sent a
got the
letter
key,
to postman,
and I think he
when you
keeps
sent a letter to Santa.
I think he keeps the key in his pants.
No, I think he's got it on a
Or
necklace.
in his wash bag.
No one is Prince Albert.
Oh, where do you think David Brady...
Who's David Brady?
Didn't you say his name was David? What's his name?
Graham Brady.
Graham Brady.
Where does Graham
Brady keep the
his
key
letter key?
for the letters? Now, Graham Brady is the one that takes in the letters from the MPs asking for, the vote of no confidence. And we were talking about this yesterday, how the only thing we know about Graham Brady is he never says anything.
Doesn't say anything.
People just, oh no, you'll never get anything out of Graham Brady. So, yeah, where do you think where would you keep the key if you were Graham Brady?
In that little pocket that you get in your jeans.
That would be
just
silly,
there.
no, because that could go in the washing machine and mess up the
That's
washing
very
machine.
true.
So you can't keep
and then
it
you
there.
wouldn't be able to access all the letters.
I would keep mine in my wash bag.
Well, that would
You
be
know when you have
silly.
like a pocket where you've got maybe like an old earbud and it's a bit sticky from old toothpaste, I'd keep it in there because people would go, oh no.
Yeah, but your key would have a piece of chewing gum attached to it. And an eyelash.
In his drinks cabinet, says Mark Anthony.
Ah.
Claire Smiley reckons he'd keep it in his socks.
Hazel
great place.
Malbon says in his buttocks. Dear me.
Up
We've
his
got
bum bum.
We got to buttocks really quickly, didn't
Graham
we?
Brady keeps it up his bum bum.
Don't say that of Graham Brady. So
He's
yeah.
a very serious man and he's not letting anyone know how many letters there are. But I didn't realise this was so that people could stab the Prime Minister in the back. Do you think
With
the
a
Prime
key.
Minister gets to know who's put the letters in there in some
Oh,
way?
he'll have someone somewhere telling him who.
Would he?
Oh, absolutely.
And how would he... Because how's he making the phone calls?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he's making the phone calls to the ones
He'll
that...
be phoning those that he knows he has a bit of beef with. This is the chap that you're talking about. Lord Geet, who's the ethics advisor, has threatened...
he looks like an ethics
He looks
advisor.
totally ethical. Has threatened to quit over the Downing Street party scandal after concluding there was legitimate questions about whether the Prime Minister breached
Oh,
the
really?
code.
One
Yeah.
of them is saying there is actually
Don't you
legitimate
think
questions.
it's weird that it's happening
Dominic
now?
Raab this morning was like, we all just want to move on, busy, Ukraine. It's just like, it's not going to just go away just because you've
You know what I do when I hear Dominic Raab? I go...
I hate Dominic Raab.
Raab.
I hate him. And
All right,
Nick
careful,
Ferrari
careful.
was right up his bum today. What do you mean careful? I'm not going to say anything terrible.
No, I'm just saying, you've got to be careful because we're going to get to forgiveness.
No, I don't forgive any of them. So, so Nick Ferrari asked him a question today that he wouldn't answer. Oh, because you're a very articulate, eloquent person.
Did
Nick
he?
Ferrari said to Dominic Raab.
I've had to turn him off. I can't listen to him anymore. I've had to turn John O'Brien,
Well,
James
but
O'Brien. I can't
the
listen to any of them
thing
anymore.
about Dominic Raab is that he just blatantly uses political speak to not answer a question. He doesn't even try and hide it. He just goes, because he asked him about Prince Andrew, which we're going to talk about in a minute. What do you think of what the Archbishop said? And he gave just such a politician's answer. And then he said, so Nick Ferrari tried to hit him again and said, well, should he be on the balcony for the Jubilee? Well, that's a matter for the... I am looking, and my constituents so looking forward to the Jubilee. And he started to talk really slowly, so they would run out of time and have to go to the news, and just started talking about his local area and the Jubilee
Do you
celebration.
think things like the Jubilee allow the government a real... They love public events and things like this because it means they can distract and pretend that they're all part of it. They're all
Well,
one
they
of us,
say
all this, you know.
Boris is horribly trying to piggyback and take some of the glory of the Jubilee.
It's only me, says Dominic Raab has a red mark on his nose that I find so distracting I no longer hear him.
Oh, God, I'm going to have to have a look now.
Oh.
Well, he
What
should
I
get
love-
that checked out.
I love the
He should
breadth.
get that checked out if he's got a red
Well,
thing on
I
his
agree.
nose.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love the breadth of analysis and where we go with this. So yeah, one of the things we're going to talk about
I'm
was
going to have a look at Dominic Raab's nose. Can I borrow your glasses for 1 minute?
no, because I can't.
No, I've just got to look for the red spot.
Go and find your glasses.
No, just for 1 minute.
Oh my God.
Just chat. Sing.
I'm,
Well, I've got hundreds of pictures of him up.
maybe you only had it today. Maybe he's drunk a bit too much whiskey.
Oh, you don't think it's a permanent spot?
No, I think it's a bit of a blemish.
Oh,
today.
no, I know what you mean. Oh, it's because his nose bends round to the right.
Oh, so it's shadow.
It's a shadow.
Shadow. Yeah, and we know about that because Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are talking a lot about shadows and where light come from. Oh, that's a close kiss. Hang on, you're looking at Raab porn. Stop it. This is a bizarre corner of the internet.
God, look at when he's
No.
a bodybuilder.
No, my
Yes.
God.
That's the old Dominic Raab on the right. Or on the left.
Depends which way you're
I
holding
don't
it.
know which way around they're looking.
It's upside down. It's upside down.
Blimey.
Raab is ripped. Was it ripped? Ripped
He
Raab.
was ripped. He's not ripped
He's a
anymore.
ripped Raab. Wow, yeah. Left. Thanks, Louise Pudney. Coconut Island. Okay, so Archbishop of Canterbury, bless him, in an interview with the ITV, said about Prince Andrew when asked that he's making amends and that we should become a more forgiving society.
So if he's not done anything, what's he making amends for, and what are we supposed to forgive him for? Because apparently he hasn't done anything.
Precisely. So that on the one hand, he's either done nothing or he's not done nothing, though an out-of-court settlement usually says you've done something, doesn't it?
No, actually...
Does it not?
I really don't think that. I think that a lot of
It's just to
famous
stop it.
people... I've spoken to very famous people that have said this, that you have a sort of fund
Right.
that they use to just because people are always trying to take you to court for something or other.
Right.
And so I definitely don't think every time somebody does it is because they're admitting guilt. I think that...
He's not been held accountable, Bella Rosa. Okay, well, but what the Archbishop was talking about, so I put up a poll saying, should we forgive Prince Andrew? And there are 13 people. Well, let's see, because I think the lion's share of people assume that there's some smoke, there's got to be
So
smoke.
if we
There's
think
no
that
smoke
he was
fire.
part of a sex trafficking circle, how can anyone forgive that? That's like a no. Are we being asked to forgive him if he was just a bit of a fool that thought all these gorgeous 18-year-old girls were just so hot for him because he was the prince, and he didn't think that there was anything dodgy at all with flying to these islands and all of that, and he's just a numpty? Can we forgive him if he's been a numpty? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm less thinking about the literal... we have no way of knowing what he's done, the extent
Well, he
to
said
which
he's done
it.
nothing.
Yeah, so essentially to him and the Archbishop, there's nothing to forgive.
Right, so we go back to
But
what is
if
the Archbishop talking
if
about?
we assume that he has done something, are there certain crimes that are so heinous
Yeah.
that you shouldn't and couldn't forgive
Yes.
for them? And I just wonder whether it is forgiveness.
But is the Archbishop asking us to forgive him for being a bit of a silly boy and mixing with the wrong people? Because
Well-
that's all he's admitted to.
Well, he's really frustrated, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and he's got COVID, so you've got to be gentle with him. He said a spokesperson for him says that he had to later clarify what he was talking about. He said it was a very tight news item, and he was trying to embrace and tackle big concepts in a bite-sized chunk, which he says is always a recipe for disaster. He said, in tonight's interview with ITV News, I was asked a question about forgiveness, and I said there is a difference between consequences and forgiveness.
Right.
Both are essential elements of the Christian understanding of justice, mercy, and reconciliation. I made the broader point that I hope we can become a more forgiving society. These are complex issues, difficult to address in a short media interview.
So he's stitched up, basically.
So he feels like he's been stitched up.
So he's not...
He wasn't necessarily talking as an
specifically
apologist for Prince Andrew.
Right, okay.
But I think he was suggesting, can we find more tolerance? Can we find more, you know...
Oh, it's an interesting question. I think forgiveness...
Good question, Live Well. What does it mean to forgive him? How does that
Exactly.
manifest itself?
Does it mean that we say, oh, come on, let's have him back at the Jubilee. Let's give him back all his charities. I think that if that's what the forgiveness means, then I think no. We can't forgive him in that way. Because that would set a really bad example, I think.
Russ, big no, he doesn't deserve forgiveness, I'm afraid. He knew exactly what he was doing, and his status made him think he was untouchable.
I mean,
Big
don't forget,
mistake.
he still continued to see that man after he had been found guilty of sex crimes.
Very true. Very true.
And if anybody that I knew was found guilty of such a terrible thing, there is no way I would continue to see that person. Do you?
Reese says it's mad.
Ladies-
Only in a white man's world can a white man of immense privilege hang and socialise with a paedophile and contribute to sexual trafficking and be expected to be forgiven. Tale of two cities.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I think the Archbishop was perhaps kind of hoisted on a Prince Andrew petard when in fact he was trying to talk more generally and was perhaps maybe using Prince Andrew as an example of the topic. I mean, I think forgiveness is an incredible... I mean, you know, in day-to-day life, forget the sort of legalities of forgiveness. It's, you know, when someone hurts you, it is, you know, I think forgiveness is more manageable and easier. You went on your live a minute ago. I think forgiveness is more manageable when you trust or believe that the person opposite you has done something wrong, is genuinely sorry, or, you know, and that comes down to whether you believe they're genuinely sorry or not, or whether someone apologizes. I mean, you know, can you forgive someone who has made a huge mistake and behaved in a certain way and recognizes the error of their way? You know, I'd have thought a huge amount of forgiveness was there in you for me during the drinking years and all that kind of stuff, you know, for the kind of upset caused and all that.
See, I think forgiveness is incredibly difficult. I mean, there's no two ways about that. If somebody has done something to you, hurt you, or hurt someone you loved, it's incredibly difficult. But I think it's more difficult not to forgive, because the poison in yourself is horrible. There are a couple of people in my life that I don't forgive, and those pockets in my soul are the pockets I dislike most about myself, because they're dark, they're sticky, they poison me, they're the toxic parts of my body, and I wish I could forgive, let go, let God, and I'm holding on to it. What is it they say? Bitterness is like giving a poison to somebody else. No, what is it? What's that famous saying? Giving poison to expecting someone else to be poisoned, but you poison yourself. Who knows that saying? Somebody knows it. And it's so, so true. Please, somebody tell me what that is, because one of you will have it. Bot alert.
That's right, I've got it.
So my aim is always to forgive. Now, we're both Scorpios, and we're quite difficult. It's quite difficult for Scorpios to forgive and forget.
Got it, don't worry, guys.
I think there's a couple of situations in your life that you still haven't forgiven, and I see it poison you in the same way it poisons me.
Melanie S makes a really interesting point. Only if his victim forgave him, then perhaps I could. I mean, I suppose, yeah, is forgiveness necessary? Is forgiveness something that's kind of, you know, conditional, in that, you know, you can forgive someone for something they've done if the actual victim of the perpetration, if you like, or whatever it is they've done, can actually forgive too? Does that make it easier to sort of forgive? I don't know. I mean, you're right. I think there are some, sorry, just dealing with, I think there are some, sorry, just getting some bots. I think there are some circumstances where it's really, really hard to forgive. And I think if someone has no interest in kind of climbing down from where they've been or where they've gone to, I don't think you should just forgive with everyone. I don't think you should forgive everyone everything. I genuinely
without
don't.
giving any details, can you think of any situation that you or person that you haven't been able to forgive, that you feel still is sticky in you, doesn't do you good, doesn't serve you?
Yes, yes. There you go.
No, but then, so why, when we know that it doesn't serve us, why can't we let go of it?
I just don't think about it, but when I do think about it, I can't forgive. I just think there are some things...
What does forgive mean?
It's to actually let go. I think there's also...
To let go.
Yeah.
So to not let go, how does that serve us as human beings? It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Lee, can I just read Lee's quote? Where is it? Here's a quote. Forgiveness is the perfume that the trampled flower casts back upon the foot that crushed it. Wow.
Sorry, say that again.
Forgiveness is the perfume that the trampled flower casts back upon the foot that crushed it.
Love it.
Wow.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, I don't know how, and moving on is forgiveness.
John Dobbins,
John,
yeah.
it is. It's moving on. And so if somebody's done bad to you and you can't forgive them, every day that you don't forgive them, they are winning because they are poisoning you. They poison me. The people that I can't forgive poison me. And on the day on my deathbed, I hope I've forgiven every fucker that's ever done anything.
But also, I think
that would be my ambition.
I think there are some people, and I counsel hard my kids, that, you know, there are some people who hold on to grievances because to not forgive is the fuel, the rocket fuel of their lives. It's the thing that keeps them going, and that's when it becomes a really dangerous thing. I mean, you talked about, I think everyone can think of a person, an instance, a situation where it's really hard to forgive. When it crops up, you struggle with it. I think we aim for it, but I think some people go to active lengths not to forgive in order to give their life some purpose, and in order to give, as I say, rocket fuel, very corrosive rocket fuel to feelings of put uponness, bitterness, poor me. If it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for that, look at them. You know, and so, and I think it's really.
Do you think it comes from when you can't let go? Do you think it comes from a confused state of mind that somehow if you don't forgive, you're still protecting yourself from them? Because to let down that guard and say, I forgive them, you leave yourself vulnerable to them hurting you again. And I don't think it does protect you. I think it weakens you. I really do.
Jennifer Mann, I find it harder when the wrong has been done to my children. I'm better to forgive when bad done to myself. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you go after someone's kids, it's game over. It's game over for me. But a lot of people would say it can't be, you know, or it shouldn't be. And you know, I recognise it's a hugely sort of. I don't hold on to any grievances with anyone. But if I'm asked to have to engage with them, and I'm asked, do you forgive? And I look at the situation and dispassionately, and I go, well, do you know what? Their attitude hasn't changed at all. There's no climb down. There's no compassion. There's no empathy. There's no human interest. No, I don't.
But say, imagine that you say all of that, and then you say, and I have no bad feeling to them. I let them go because that's who they are. That is better for yourself. It is. It is better for yourself.
It has to be, yeah.
And I think it's more damning to the person, actually, if you just because to still have passion to hate and not be able to forgive is a connection with that person. And
it's an ambition. It's an ambition to aim for.
My ambition is to forgive, is to let go. But I don't know if I'll pull it off.
Just quickly, just as we kind of wrap up, it is half term, and I just thought it would be quite funny. There was a piece in the Eye this morning saying why London might be wrong about its most hated tourist attractions, from Angus steakhouses to M&M's World. Now, one of the most common issues with overhyped tourist traps is the cost. So let's put that to one side. The cost of everything is ludicrous.
Is disgusting.
But I think if we were to target things on their cost, it would become a very boring process of just saying, you know, well, that.
I think it's hard not to, Mark.
No. But the point is, I think you should accept that most things are prohibitively, stupidly expensive, like Madame Tussauds.
No, but say for
London
instance
Eye.
the London Eye.
Yeah.
If the London Eye was a £5, I'd say go. But the thing is, it's 40, so I'd say don't go.
Yeah. So what are your worst London tourist things to go to, or which are the worst tourist attractions you've been to? What was the biggest disappointment in London?
I hated the London Eye. It's so boring.
The London Eye was the biggest piece of shit I've ever been on. I felt trapped, I felt enclosed, and I couldn't see a fucking thing.
But to go and look at the London Eye, absolutely, and to photograph, it's a stunning feat of engineering. It's absolutely beautiful. And, you know, in front of that, especially if you've got the blue sky is out, and you know, and just down the road, you've got the Houses of Parliament and everything. So absolutely go, but don't bother queuing and getting on it.
Faith Goodman, best tourist Harry Potter studio tour, Watford.
That was great.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Worst, did not go, but yeah, the Mound Hill at Marble Arch.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a given.
Believe it when we went to see it. I tell you a really good one that we all still smile about. That one where they scared the bejesus out of us.
The London Experience. Well, someone here has done a list of London's overhyped tourist attractions, and the London Experience is on there as one of the most overhyped, cheapest thrills for the most. Anyway, look. So number one is Buckingham Palace, a plain, ugly building surrounded by a gate.
No, but I would disagree with that because don't go with huge expectations. There is a power. There is there is a vibe. And the streets around it and the roundabout just in front of it. No, I absolutely think Buckingham Palace is. I mean, I don't know about a tour inside. I've never done that, but it's worth going to look at the building.
Jane Bentley, we love the open top bus. Yeah, we hear good things about the open top bus. So number one on is the changing of the guards, glorified marching band.
It's stunning.
Have you seen it?
They all are in all their kit.
Oh, you disagree?
Yeah, you do go, whoa.
And isn't
But
that
again,
free
I go,
as well?
whoa,
Don't you just stand
passing by in a cab.
Yeah. The London Eye crowds in a pod.
Oh, it's horrible.
And also, of course, the other problem is you've got the weather's so changeable. You can get up there and then it's suddenly. And if you need a loo,
You know what I liked?
you're screwed.
Do you remember when we went on the speedboat with the
Ah,
sightseeing?
no, that is
was
good.
fun.
Yeah,
Spare ribs.
speedboats are
Spare
good.
rib or something.
Spare rib. Oh,
Speed
do you remember
rib
speed
or
rib.
something.
What else have they got on this list? Madam Two Swords.
Haven't
A
been there for
wax
years.
trap.
But when I was a kid, I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't. They never
I
looked
did.
like they never looked like them then,
I
and they
liked
still
it.
don't look like them now. And apparently, everyone's just in everyone else's way, trying to take Instagram photos.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
bet
everyone.
because when I went, nobody took any photos.
That's true. You just kind of.
Be horrible
Who
now.
took photos? Where did you go if one didn't? I'm just trying to remember.
I mean, we didn't have phones. My mum probably had an Instamax that she took a few.
Oh, an Instamax. Look at you, Instamax. Madam Two Swords, Piccadilly Circus and Leicester Square. I disagree with that one. I quite like corners and roundabouts in London and things like that. Covent Garden, Watch Your Wallet.
Well, I think you could say a little bit
Yeah.
more about Covent Garden than what you want.
Yeah, I think so too. This is a list of the top 10. Oxford Street. Now, I agree with this. Oxford Street, generic shopping.
Yeah, but if you love shopping, it's the best place to go.
Yeah, but it's pretty
You've got
generic.
Selfridges, you've got a huge Selfridges, you've got a
Yeah.
huge John Lewis. I hate shopping, so I would rather die than go.
Mm.
You've got a massive 3-floor Topshop, 3-floor Zara,
Mm.
3-floor. So if you are a shopper, absolutely go to Oxford Street.
Melanie S. London Aquarium during half term, awful. So packed.
Oh, well, we loved it when the kids were little.
Yeah. No, I have to say, it's strange looking eye to eye with a shark and you know you're right next to the Thames. Very
Yeah.
strange. Natalie Price, I loved the Millennium Dome when it was the Millennium Dome, not a concert venue.
I never went there.
It's only me. I used to love going to the Peter Pan Garden in Kensington Gardens as a kid. Huge wooden They've still got the wooden pirate ship in the playground.
Yeah.
Our girls used to play on it all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, I think it's the sort of simpler things. You know, Camden Market, Portobello Market, little areas
South
of
Bank.
London. The
And
South
South
Bank.
Bank is.
Yeah.
I mean, we
there
go
we go,
to
Zoe, the South Bank.
South Bank is great.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Vibing, really
buzzy and vibey. You're like, wow, we are in a metropolitan city. Wow, and then you've got all those incredible buildings, the other side of the river, you know, opposite the National, you know. I mean, the Houses of Parliament, I don't know, I've never been in and had a wander around, but my God, it is beautiful from the outside, isn't it? And Big Ben, as you come over. I love all the bridges. I love all the London bridges.
Yeah, the bridges are
to go
nice.
back and forth, costs you nothing, just to walk back and forth over
St
the bridge.
James's Park is really pretty
What's
as
that
well.
bridge I love that moves around?
The Millennium Bridge.
I love the Millennium Bridge.
Yeah, the Millennium Bridge is great. By the Tate Modern, you cross it and you're walking towards St Paul's
And I love
Cathedral.
Chelsea Bridge. I think we should do a vlog of
Yeah,
places we love.
Spitalfields all around there is really nice. Brick Lane, you know, it's all those little neighbourhoods, all those other
It's
neighbourhoods.
a great city,
Yeah.
a great place.
Lee, you're absolutely right. Inside the Houses of Parliament, it is stunning. I don't know how much it costs or how long the wait is, but it is quite astonishing.
Why don't we do a vlog inside the Houses of Parliament?
Yeah, no,
Never know,
that'd
we
be
might bump into Boris knocking up a
Yeah,
word.
absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, look, there you go. We just thought we'd share on that. Some other places that they say aren't as bad as people make out is don't knock the Angus Steakhouse until you've tried it. Apparently the steak is very nice.
Is it?
And
Let's go to an Angus
let's go to
Steakhouse,
an
that'd
Angus
be so
Steakhouse.
funny.
And M&M's World. Though I have to say, I found it the most stressful place to go.
Shop has closed down on Oxford. Of course it has.
Yeah.
Who's this? Claire's having a shit time. Morning, struggling so much. My son hasn't slept for 5 days straight. Can't get much help. It's heartbreaking. He's 13. Mentally, he's about 3.
Oh,
Now,
sweetheart.
God, how are you coping, Claire? 5 days without sleep. That's not okay.
Sending you lots of
Have
love.
you got someone you can reach out to?
That's right, Faith. You're young pecan.
That's too much for you. Who can you reach out to? Please, just think of it. 5 days is way, you know, you will be really struggling if you've had 5 days with no sleep. God, I'm just thinking who would be a good person for you. You know, if all else fails, the Samaritans, they will lead you to the right people to help you.
Yeah.
And ring them and say, Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm going to bloody lose my mind, if that's how you feel. Because I could not imagine going 5 days without sleep. And that's so hard for you. Big hug.
Sending you big love, club. Thanks, guys. Sorry about the bots. We get them. We always get them. Don't worry. Guys, have a lovely day. Stay safe. And it's the start of the